So now let's discuss about the method calling. So far what all we discussed in this method calling concept, all we discussed with appropriate return type. But in this example, now we will be discussing about method calling where the return type is void. If return type is void, how the difference will be there. So to understand a new concept, I'll take a known example. What is that? So print area of rectangle. Let me take a known example here so that we can understand the new concept clearly. So for printing the area of a rectangle, first we are aware of that independent class code is the first thing to write. So what's a class? A meaningful class name, public class name is rectangle. And inside this, any number of methods we can write it. Let me write only one method. So public return type is void. I'm not thinking about what's the formula will give the result accordingly. Should we write or not? That's previous learning. But here void means I don't want to return any value to anybody. If they use my method will get them the result. That's it. So public void get area is the method name a capital. And a rectangle having two measurements. One is length of integer type, comma, one is breadth of integer type only. So these are the two inputs to the method. So then L asterisk B is the logical part of finding the area. So this will give one integer result. I am using int a for area to store. Then if it is a void return type, is it allowed to write the return statement? If method return type is void, is it allowed to write return a? It's against the syntax. Therefore, this line of code is incorrect. So when we are not returning, then we will see what are the possibilities to access or to get the output. So like we know previously three approaches. Now we will see how many of them possible if return type is a void type. So for that I am taking a public class, some class name test. Inside this public static void main, and the main syntax will be string three dots also, then args. Then inside this main method, to access other class code, always the approach is create the object for this rectangle class. So I take the class and reference r equals new keyword, again the class name rectangle, empty parenthesis semicolon. Then followed by using this reference r dot, then we have to use a method signature to call a method. So till here there is no difference from return type as non-void type to return type as void type. So length value we have to pass, I'm giving 10, breadth value is 5 semicolon. This part we are aware of as a method calling. Then what's the previous approach? Whatever is a return type, accordingly we have to use the data type here to store. Now what's return type? It's void, right? Then can we use a data type as void with some variable of programmer choice equals as a left hand side to this to store? No, because void is not a data type. This part is syntactically error. What's the reason? We are aware of that void is not a data type. So if void is not a data type, then first approach some part is incorrect. Then what was the second approach that we discussed? That inside print function system.out.println, we can use the method calling. So r dot get area method 10 comma 5 are the two values to the two variables of L and B. Then is it correct? No, because whatever this is returning in the previous scenarios, the print function will print simply that. But now are we getting any return value? No. That is the reason this is second approach, directly calling method from the print function also not possible if return type is void. First two approaches are gone. Then what is the possibility? Third approach is call a method, call a method from main, and inside this method body, after having this line of code, can we use a print function now? A variable, right? So this is the third approach, method calling from a main method and printing from the wherever this get area method is declared. This is the combination which is only possibility if return type is a void type. That's a fundamental difference between these return type is non-void and return types with void approaches. It means whichever the method is called creating the object for your class, I mean the rectangle class, they can only call the method to get the output, but they can't use the value. Yeah. So previous scenarios, if you are using some variable, if it is integer return type, then I can store in my integer variable. Then I can check that is even number or odd number. I can perform various other things. I can subtract something from that. I can add something to that. All those things we could do it. But is it possible here now? No. Only method calling, you will get the result. What is my logic and all? They no need to know also. And sometimes we don't want to show also.